Welcome again to my channel, guys. Good morning. So today I want to talk about the laws that actually leads the economy and how these laws are applied in our economy every day. But the thing is, one thing we talk about economical prosperity, but we have to understand that there is laws that apply to this, and those laws are quite simple. So as long as we master the laws, as long as we go with the laws, I think we'll be very successful. Think of it this way. If you want to take water uphill, what will it need for you to take up water uphill? It's much more easier to take water downhill than uphill. So there is a law of gravitation which will not allow you actually to take the water uphill. So you have to have much more pressure. You have to have pumps which have to push the water uphill. And you might need pumps every 100 meters of the higher that you go higher. So that's the only way you can take the water uphill. But in contrast, when you have the water uphill and you want to take it downhill, it flows down with a lot of pressure. Why? Because the law of nature is that gravitation will pull it down. So gravitation is pulling again the waters downhill. So you see, as long as you apply those laws of water, you see that the water is easily and can easily be carried downhill. And it's much more benefitable for you because the pressure is much more faster of the water that goes downhill than the water that goes uphill. So what is the best way? If you had, for example, your house in the middle of a hill, and you have an option to take water down from uphill and down into your house, and you have an option of taking it downhill up to your house, which one would you consider? I think the logic tells us that we should consider the easiest way to go by, and thereby taking in the water from uphill down to our home. So that is the law of really bringing water into your house. That's the easiest way you will go. But if you want to go the hardest way, then you have to make much more investment of what you have, and really pay more than needed. So the question is, why should I pay more than needed? But anyway, I have some laws that I really want to share with you. And this is a law of wealth, which is very interesting to know. How can you actually attain wealth? The first thing that you and I must do is actually to desire it ardently. Have a desire, earnest desire. Write it down, meditate it, think about it, and say it. Write down. First of all, you have to have a thought of it before you write it down. You think it, you write it, you say it every day, every morning, every evening. You write it. You say, I, I am going to be wealthy. I am going to have this car. I'm going to have this kind of amount of money. I'm going to be a billionaire. You declare it. Because there is power in the word that you say. If you declare it, and you are sincere about your declaration, every day that you declare it, every time that you declare it, it becomes the truth. It might not seem at that time, but eventually what does it? It become really reality. Because what you say, you become part of what you say. So that is the first law. Declare it, decree it, say it. And what you do after saying it, you do not stop there. You do not stop there. You have to look for ways to acquire it. How do you look for those ways? You speak to the right people who have done the same thing that you've done. People who have acquired wealth. How did they acquire it? Knowledge is free and people are really willing to share that knowledge. So make sure you talk to them. How did you do this? How did you become wealthy? What are you doing to become wealthy? Knowledge is free, and I'm sure many people that you see, you can really talk to them and they can share their experiences of how they acquired wealth with you. Knowledge, they say, is power. So the more you read, the more you uncover. You have to turn every stone that you find. Really, and I have found that really in books you find a lot of things, a lot of really ideas that people share. Even in YouTube channels, you find a lot of ideas that people share. A lot of knowledge lies out there. But it all depends on you, how you take that knowledge and how you put it in practice. So you talk to people, ask them, how did you do? What did you do to become wealthy? If you had a chance to sit with Bill Gates, what is the best thing you could ask him? What would you like to know from Bill Gates? Would you want him to give you $1 million? Would that be satisfactory for you? Because he can give you $1 million and today that $1 million finishes. But they say, there is a proverb which says, teach me how to fish and I'll never ask you to fish. So I would love to ask Bill Gates, how did he get that wealth? And how is he investing his wealth? So that's the thing, the know-how. Get the knowledge of how to acquire that wealth. Once you get that knowledge, apply it in the simplicity of what you are doing. Let's say you have a job. You have to save 10% to 20% of what you earn. Because if you have a methodic of saying, okay, all that I earn, I will save it. So make sure that you save the money that you actually earn. Save much more of it. Be a good banker. Save it. Do not spend the money. So, but don't leave your money just laying there, because it won't do anything if you just save it. It's like children, you're having children, and then those children are not really helping your empire. Because once you're having your children, is that they should, when they grow up, they should actually be contributors of your great empire. They should maybe inherit your throne and, just like the example of Saul, who wanted Jonathan to inherit his throne, or the example of David, who wanted Solomon to inherit his throne. So you want your children to thrive and to be really prosperous. So that's the thing. Learn them to acquire much more wealth. And that is what you have to do with your children that you acquire investment. The money that you have acquired, those are your children. Make them work for you. So that's the thing we do. You make that money which you have saved really acquire something for you. Those are children. And all those children are giving birth to children who acquire more wealth for you. Saving is important, but making as well the saving work for you. Reinvesting the savings so that they in return can bring you much more money, which you in return reinvest again, which will bring you more benefits. Those are the simple laws of wealth. Acquire, keep your wealth, reinvest it, reinvest again, and keep reinvesting. If you keep repeating that same algorithm, you keep repeating that same thing on and on and on and on, you become the wealthiest man the world has ever known. The secret is repeating the same thing, repeating the same idea on, in, out, and throughout. If you can repeat that same thing, you will acquire much more wealth. So I think the easiest way is to start where you are. You can be a carpenter, you can be a restaurant worker. Whatever you earn, save it. And before you invest, make sure that you know the kind of business you're investing in, and make sure you work with people who know what they're doing. Do not ask about investment somebody who's doing something else. You cannot ask about investment somebody who's actually who has never done the investment before. You know what I mean? You just have to ask people who knows about what they're doing. And those people will really help you in that kind of investment. If you want to invest in weapon, ask for those people who do weapon investment. If you want to know about farming, ask the farmer. If you want to know about weather, ask those people who work at the weather station. So you have to really involve professionals who do that so that you can be helped out. Because if you do not involve the right people, you will wipe up your babies and you have to give birth again. So really invest, reinvest, reinvest again. So that's the secret of wealth. So I think if you try this, you become the wealthiest man the world has ever seen. Please, if you've not subscribed, really would like you to subscribe to our channel. And we are very thankful for the many subscribers that we have. And keep sharing the stories. And really want to have the conversation down in the comments. So go down in the comments and share what you think. We'd like to know so that we can even share those stories that you have. And tell us how is your investment going and what have you learned so far from our channel. Thank you very much. See you on the next one.